No, 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 we're not in Ireland, even though it's so green. We're actually descending into hell. This is the Gehenna Valley. And there we have the Scots up there. And I actually, a moment ago, I had the Peace Tower that we were near yesterday as well in view. We'll probably catch it later, hopefully. But I came down too quickly before the video got going, before the countdown finished. So I forgot to show you the Peace Tower up there that we were at yesterday. Not the Peace, yeah, the Peace Pillar rather, not a tower. So we're underneath Mount Zion, up there. And I'm just watching where I'm walking. It looks like to do a lot of irrigation here to keep it green. You can see all the water that was sprayed here in the early hours of the morning. It's still here. And so this is the Gehenna Valley. This is the nicest time for the Gehenna Valley. Well, from, I guess, the whole region from December on to March. And you have the natural rain. Obviously here they keep it irrigated. It's easier in this time of the year now when it's not so hot. We're almost in November. That concert stadium I showed you yesterday is just back there behind that, the road. You see a car going along there. Maybe. I won't zoom in now because we want to get to the sun and the sunrise. It's amazing, they're always building here. And massively. You know, my shoes are getting a little wet on the outside. My tennis shoes. Because of the irrigation that has been applied, and it feels like walking in Ireland on the fields after rain. There's quite some rock face here. Imagine that they also quarried from this in bygone days for building. Then Herod opened up huge quarries outside when he had his massive construction projects. So there was extra cloud this morning, and we're still getting to see the splendor of the sun. Maybe we'll just head over on this side here for more perspective of the sun and also of Mount Zion. So I'm not sure if you've ever walked into hell before, but here we are in Gehenna. In the Gehenna Valley. Horrible things happened here. And that's why it is used as a metaphor for hell. The normal, more civilized explanation is that there was garbage burning here, dump, so perpetual fire in the garbage with all the stench and the vermin. So it wasn't your paradise type of imagination. And then the biggest, most ugliest feature was the pagan worship here, the Canaanite worship of child sacrifice to the god Moloch. And even one step worse than that was when the leadership of the chosen people here in Jerusalem fell into the same evil. The elite leadership practiced the same abominations, and that's mentioned very clearly in Jeremiah and Ezekiel and Isaiah, and it's still retained today as the cause of the exile. The motive for that punishment for falling into such a disaster, for losing your own place, your own identity, your own being, your own culture. Really amazing. There's a big fig tree here, but we'll see it from the other side, just over here. There were actually two, but, well, no, maybe there was one here and there are more down further. And so they've actually excellent figs in August, and often I invited confreres who were visiting. I said, if you're interested, I can take you to hell and eat some delicious figs. And they were growing on this tree here that really got battered in a major storm that was here, I don't know, 12, 14, 15 years ago. I used to use this valley a lot, long before live streaming. You can see the branches where they're broken off. This is a huge tree. I'm sure it still produces wonderful figs, and there are more further down. And this valley down here now is a park that's been developed, and I saw the gate was closed, so we won't be going in there. But I think what we'll do is we'll just climb up here on Mount Zion from the back. And this is the first time I personally am seeing this suspension bridge across the Gehenna Valley. And I know some of you want me to walk across it, but I don't have the waiver forms. You haven't signed off for liability, so I don't want to be responsible for you falling off or getting seasickness. But if enough of you have signed the waiver forms that you take personal responsibility, then maybe another day we will cross this bridge for the live stream. Wouldn't that be a good idea? But not everybody needs to come, just the people who are not afraid. But we're going to go up by the entrance to it anyway. And there we can see the windmill now. I'd just like to get a better perspective, but this might be as good as any. And that's where we were yesterday morning. And that used to be called the King Solomon Hotel. And there you see the windmill. So that's where we started our live stream yesterday morning. So you get your bearings. And actually I see also that little bridge crossing the road into the Gehenna Valley. You see, that's where we were also. And it's just behind that is the Pillar of Peace. But maybe we'll get a view of it later as we go up here on Mount Zion. Wow, this is a whole new set of steps here that I didn't notice. Anyway, I didn't ever see before. It was just a track, like a cow track or a sheep track. And in fact, you'd see Bedouins here with their flocks. Wow, this is quite the bridge. Not Calatrava style, but it's new for me. I just want to walk in 1 or 2 yards into it, but you can hold on to the rails and we can look down. So when you guys sign the waiver, that can be just a note on the Facebook or YouTube. Then as both of you get this video, the YouTube get it a little bit later on when we download it and upload it to YouTube. Somebody was telling me that there's some technology to get both. Oh, look at the details. That's nice, isn't it? 8-petaled rosette. It's nice when people put in a little flower, a little heart, something to show affection, appreciation, to make things beautiful. And there's even a water fountain here. Huh. Yeah, there's... Right now I'm not thirsty, so that's okay. Maybe at this time of the year it's not working. So there you have another view into the Gehenna Valley. It's fascinating, really, the slide between the Gehenna Valley and Mount Zion, the city of grace, and the metaphor for hell. Oh, there I see the pillar for peace now very clearly, where we were yesterday. You see it standing there on that, just beyond that bridge at the end of it, with the Isaiah text written there that the swords will be turned into plowshares. I think those were a partridge flying down there, 4 of them with their unique call. So we're looking across to East Jerusalem, part of it. So the Gehenna Valley goes down and empties into the Kidron Valley, which continues flowing down then toward the Dead Sea. The mountains of Moab now are visible but very unclear at this moment. And the Dead Sea lies just this side of the mountains of Moab and Jordan. This is quite the climb up here, up to Mount Zion, up to the city of grace. It's many years since I did this little walk. I don't remember when was the last time. So the scriptures today are a wonderful word. About family and how parents raise children and how children honor parents, the very first building block of the social order, because in that mutual love of husband and wife we are conceived and nurtured, nourished, nurtured, developed, educated, learning the basics of human society. And how that should be animated by love and not by dominion, not by anger, but by motivation, care, compassion, personal motivation. There are even cocks crowing, and if we were to go around the corner, maybe we'll do that another day, we would have the Peter and Gallicanto is just around the corner over there. And inside this graveyard here, which I presume is closed, is the tomb of Oskar Schindler, the Christian graveyard on Mount Zion. A man who was very, very helpful and effective in saving over 1,200 Jewish lives during the Holocaust, during the Shoah. And it's not easy to educate children, and it's also often difficult for children with their parents. Parents aren't always perfect. Parents don't always see everything that needs to be taken into account, although they have a great instinct, especially when the children are very small. Obviously, it depends on also how the parents' lives are, which is actually a very good segue into the gospel today, which talks about it's not enough to be verbally for Jesus, but we need to be for Jesus in our lives. Our faith can easily be split into going to praise and worship, but having a private life that's very selfish, very harsh. So there has to be an integration. It's not enough to say, I love you, if the lifestyle is selfish, because then it's a lie. And one of the biggest magnets for Jesus' criticism was hypocrisy. People who seemed to live a very religious life, but it was on the outside. Their hearts were filled with malice. That's one of the words used in the gospel. And when the parents are smoking and telling the children not to smoke, we got a problem. And when disciples are saying, I love you, Lord, but they're living in a very unfaithful relationship or very harsh relationship or an unjust relationship at work, an untruthful relationship in the stories they spin, explaining their big defects to cover up, then that doesn't combine. And so the standard Jesus is teaching us is it's not enough to say things, but we need to deliver the way we live, to walk the talk, the stroll and chat. So pray for me, because I do a lot of talking. So I need to do some walking. We did a little bit this morning. But that's our life. That's a big message for today. In here we've got archaeology. Up here, even some, I think, Herodian period stonework. I actually need a good refresher. Yeah, actually down here under our feet. I'd need a good refresher on the archaeology here, because maybe there are more clarifications and I'm not up to date. I need to find some little summary of the explanation, because we should come back here again. You can see those cuts around the stone. They at least mimic the Herodian ones. These are not as nicely done as at the Temple Mount. But I understand that this site, parts of it are from that time. And you can see the quarry, the cuts in the rock. And then obviously people use that. There are even steps for like little stairs. People would have used that for dwelling spaces. Also in times of need and after destructions of wars. People are in great need and have to improvise. So people, let's walk the walk and not just talk the talk. And there are more themes here. I'm just skipping on them now because we'll be back again, God willing. It's a very nice perch for sunrise. And if enough people sign the waiver, we'll walk over that bridge one of these mornings, God willing. And you can have a different view. You can be walking right across hell without getting burned, especially if you have sun cream. God bless you. See you later, alligators. You do it like this so you can see the archaeology in there. Come on, I'm trying to change this. There we go. God bless you.